All right. We're back. Hey, America, are you tired yet of treason, police state tactics, lies, history rewritten? I mean, the ink isn't even dry on the news, and they're trying to rewrite history. I mean, I get that history is always written by the victor, but this is ridiculous. They haven't even won the war and they're rewriting history. Alas, the Ministry of Propaganda is in full swing. You know, we're going to talk in this segment about gun sellers who are now going to be labeled high risk, so that financial institutions can say, well, we're not going to allow you to bank here. We won't take Visa and MasterCard with you. You're not going to be able to deposit your money in the banks. You see, this is the backhanded treason of the Obama administration. They're trying to put gun retailers out of business with regulations and investigations that bypass Congress and choke off their line of credit, freeze their assets, and prohibit online sales. See, here's the deal, America. Every American should buy as many guns as they can. I don't care if you stockpile them, because there'll be plenty of Americans that are going to need one, and it ain't going to be much longer. Since 2011, regulators have increased the scrutiny on banks' customers. The FDIC, now look, this is a government agency, and it is persecuting the Second Amendment rights of individuals and the sellers. That's treason. Hello? Since 2011, they've been urging banks to limit and classify gun retailers as high risk. So PayPal, eBay, they've already jumped on board with this. Can't sell a gun on eBay or PayPal. In fact, you can't even show a picture of a gun on eBay. Did you know that? At one point in time years ago, and I'm talking years ago now, I'm talking about 2005, I had put a holster up on a picture of a holster up on eBay, and I'd put a picture of a gun. This is when I was closing my store. I had a gun store. I had a picture of a gun in the holster so people could see how it would fit. And eBay removed the auction. They didn't just take the picture down. They shut the auction down and said, that's a violation of our user policy. You can't show a picture of a gun on eBay. What? Look at any television program, and you see guns all day long. PayPal won't allow anybody to pay for a gun through their system. And in fact, if they find you, they will shut your entire account down. Go buy a gun on Gunbroker or Auction Arms or any one of the gun auction sites out there and pay for it with PayPal. And see what happens. They will shut your account down and they'll shut their account down. Really? Whose flipping money is it? Now they want to list gun dealers as high risk. You know what else is high risk? Drug paraphernalia shops. Pornography stores. High risk of fraud. High risk of selling something that's illegal. The Justice Department, to make matters worse, has doubled down and started something called Operation Choke Point. Operation Choke Point. It's a credit card fraud probe that's focusing on banks and payment processors. And they're threatening banks to cut ties with online gun retailers if they don't want to be investigated. Even if they're completely legitimate. Even if they are a federally licensed firearms dealer and have a good credit history. And really? Is that any different than the IRS being used as a weapon of mass destruction against people for their political beliefs? Peter Weinstock, he's an attorney at Hunton and Williams. Here's what he has to say. This administration has very clearly told the banking industry which customers they feel represent reputational risk to do business with. Reputational risk is the quote. So financial institutions are reacting to this extraordinary enforcement arsenal by being ultra-conservative in who they do business with. Any companies that engage in any margin of risk as defined by this administration are being dropped. So let me just tell you what this would be if it was done. If you were Visa or MasterCard and you were saying, well, we're going to, because of our, personal beliefs as the executive or the corporation's political or official stand on any one thing, we're going to take action against it. That would be called restraint of trade. But when the government does it, it's okay. Now, I've been telling you this for a couple of years, folks. Bank of America will not allow you to use your Bank of America credit card to buy a gun. Did you know that? It's your money. They're just a custodian of it. But they say to you, if you go out and buy a gun, can't do it with our bank. Top Gun Firearms has their local bank, Bank United North America, dumped their online business from its service because they sold guns. An email from the bank said, "This letter in no way reflects any derogatory reasons for such action on your behalf, but rather one of industry." In other words, the gun industry. "Unfortunately, your company's line of business is not commensurate with the industries we work with." That's restraint of trade. Black Rifle Armory in Henderson, Nevada. Its bank accounts were frozen this month as the bank tried to determine whether any of Black Rifle's online transactions were suspicious. Bank of America dropped a 12-year account of Macmillan Group, they make gun stocks. Macmillan is very highly, and they make guns. Even though the company has a good credit history. Gun parts maker American Spirit Firearms in Scottsdale, Arizona, was similarly treated by Bank of America. Joe Sirakman, he's the owner of American Spirit Firearms. He says, "This seems to be happening with greater frequency and to many more dealers. At first, it was the bigger guys, gun part manufacturers or high-profile retailers. Now, the smaller mom and pop shops are being choked out." Excuse me. Now the mom and... where was I? This flipping computer. I don't know. I lost it because the computer glitched out on me. Anyway, the point is this. The fight is on. The war is on to shut down American gun manufacturers, gun purchases, gun dealers, and they're doing it because they can't get it through Congress. So they're just doing a backdoor method. Meanwhile, by the way, tens of billions of dollars worth of equipment is being funneled into your local police department. I posted an article this morning up there with a news article about how Indiana is actually driving MRAPs around in communities and towns and cities. People go up to them when they're getting gas in the MRAP and they say, "Are you going to take our guns?" "Your government has declared war upon you, America. I don't know what you're waiting for. Fight back." The simple truth is, they mean to enslave you, and they don't care how they do it. They don't care what methodology they use. They don't care what kind of collateral damage is associated with it. They don't care if you're put out of business, if the industry is destroyed. They don't care if they destroy 10 other industries adjacent to it. Remember when they were trying to save General Motors, they said, well, if we let GM go under, we're going to lose all these other ancillary businesses that produce products and parts and gizmos and widgets for them. We can't do that. Well, how about all the companies that make gizmos and widgets for the gun industry? You don't give a darn about them. Because it's really not about what's good for America. That's the reason. It's all about what's good for the statists and the traitors who run your government. You can call it anything else you want, but it doesn't change it. Every step that government takes at this point is focused on one finalized goal. And that goal is your enslavement. Your enslavement mentally, your enslavement spiritually, your enslavement psychologically, and your enslavement financially, and ultimately your enslavement physically. Every move by government, every step, everything they do, there are no alternatives out there. There are no other ulterior motives. And at this point in America, you don't even have to look to see it. You don't have to work hard at it. It's obvious. All you got to do is open your eyes. It's clear. It's clear with every step. It's clear with every article. It's clear with every news brief. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. You know, back in 2012, I wrote the article for the plan to take back America by placing state and federal government capitals under civil disobedience siege and starving the beast by literally saying, that's it, we're not going to do anything. We're on strike. We're going to stop paying all of our bills. We're not going to pay any taxes. I know the naysayers are about there desperately seeking to figure out ways to shoot holes in it. Well, I can't stop paying taxes because I work for a corporation. They take my taxes out. You know what? Shut up. Go out there and make and refile your W-2 and mark yourself exempt. Well, I'll get in trouble with the IRS. Some patriot you are. I'm so scared. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Let me tell you something. They're stripping you of everything. They're stripping you of everything that you physically own, everything that you own in your mind, everything you own in your heart and in your spirit. They're stripping your churches of authority and power by making them subservient to a 501c3 tax exemption facility. And your ministers and your church deacons are sitting there kissing and licking the boots of the monster they're supposed to be fighting. If all you're looking for is excuses on how you can sit there and shoot holes in an opportunity or in a fight, then you're just looking for an excuse to be a coward. That's what you're looking for, an excuse to be a coward. You're looking for an excuse to be a coward. There are no solutions here, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to achieve by asking the master to cease the beatings. You're either going to take it upon yourself to put the master out of commission, not just push him off, because he's still holding the whip, and he's still got a gun strapped to his hip, but to put him out of commission so he cannot reach for the gun. He cannot swing the whip again. How do you accomplish that? Well, for starters, you go on a national strike and you say, that's it, we're done, we're finished. We're not doing it anymore. And we don't care if we have to sit here, because guess what? It won't be long before a fiscal collapse will strip you of everything and anything that you anticipate or think you actually own. Think they're not going to take your house away from you when you can't pay the taxes on it? Come on, how silly is that? Really? You got to be kidding me. The whole world is upside down. And you're sitting here trying to pretend that it really isn't going to go that way. Well, all you got to do is look over in Britain. The wealthiest people in Britain, the 1,000 richest men and women, their wealth just went up by 50% in the last couple of years. The wealth since the crash of 2009 was $258 billion. Top 1,000 people, $258 billion. You know what it is now? 519 billion. There you go, folks. They've doubled their wealth since 2009, and most Americans have lost theirs. Most British have lost theirs. If you think that this isn't modeled, if you think that this isn't replicated in the United States and replicated in China and replicated in Asia and replicated in the European Union, you're a fool. The oligarchy is being built as we speak. The people who are the oligarchs, well, I mean, they're out there. They're loading up right now. I mean, how much money do you really need? I'm not saying that it's anybody's job to strip you of your wealth. I'm not saying that anyone has the right to limit how much you can make. I'm just saying that if the rest of the world is losing their shirt, but you on the flip side of the fence have become, have doubled your wealth. Going, I mean, if you're talking about 500, 1,000 wealthy people who have a combined or collected value of $520 billion. Do the math. You see, I've given you the statistics that the overall number of oligarchs globally is only a few million people. A few million. In the United States, you've got a couple thousand of the super rich, and these people are manipulating and twisting the game. And I'm talking about the people who, the founders of Google and AOL and all that crap, who are now taking their newfound nouveau riche status, and they're abusing and manipulating government to do things against you to improve their situation, to maintain their grip on power and authority. There's an article out this morning on Drudge Report about how the argument that is being made for the immigrant case, that we need immigrants to shore up the lack of STEM, which is science, technology, math, the lack of STEM candidates in the United States for jobs, and it's all a lie. It's all been a lie all along. The real goal here, and this article was telling. The real goal here is that they are abusing the guest worker program. And I'll tell you why. You'd think, well, it's just because they get to reduce wages for the high-tech workers, which is true. I mean, just for the record, since in the high-tech arena, just in case you didn't know this, wages have not gone up since Bill Clinton. Did you hear what I just said? Wages have not gone up since Bill Clinton was president. And worse yet, The real reason that they want these people is because it's high-tech slavery. That's cruel, you say. That's not true, blah, blah, blah. You want to make the argument. Okay, I'm going to tell you why it is. Because the corporations, the Googles, the AOLs, the Yahoos of the world, the Facebooks of the world, they hold these people's visa. And if they dare argue or cross them or strike for wages or make a fuss in any way, shape, or form, then the company can just say, well, then you're out of here. You got to go back to wherever you came from because we're going to pull your work visa. It's indentured servitude. Government and industry mean to enslave you. And since they can't enslave an American that way, and they can't have absolute control over you, because when you get sick of the job, if you don't like what you're doing, you just say, well, I'm just going to go find another one. But when you're an immigrant working on a visa, you can't do that. These H-1B visas, and by the way, there's that article puts out an excellent argument against this idea that we're short of American workers. The truth is we're not. We've got half the Americans who graduate with STEM degrees can't get a job. Half. It's all lies and propaganda. And every time you listen to it, you go deeper into the hole. We, as a nation, go deeper into the hole of enslavement. All right, we're gonna wrap for the day. Listen, I got to ask you, if there's any way that you can support America's Voice now, please be creative about it. We are upside down financially. I hate to talk about money, but sometimes I just can't help it. I don't have a choice. And if you're new to this program, please don't think that this is like a ringing thing that we do every day. I never ask for money, or almost never. But we're way upside down. If you can support us in any way as a business, be creative. You can donate a product to us. If you're a retailer and you own a shop and you've got some inventory laying around of an old camera that's still in the box and you'd like to sell it or donate it, and then we can sell it. No, we're not tax exempt, because if I was tax exempt, then they could say they could protect what I say or modify what I say. But we're upside down and we really need your help. And so if there's any way that you would be capable and or willing to help us, I would greatly appreciate that opportunity for you to donate to us. If you're an individual, I'm going to ask you to take a look at yourself and look at your finances and say, what is something that I spend money on every week or once a month that I don't really need? Maybe you're going to cut off your Ministry of Propaganda mainstream media TV channel. Whatever it is. Something that you can creatively apply or assign to this program. Because we're one of the organizations, and I shouldn't say we're. AVN is me. It's one guy. But I pay all the subsidies out of my pocket. I cover all of the shortfall every month. And I've been doing it for 3 years. And it's thousands and thousands of dollars. If you can help us, you can go to our website where you can make a donation one time, or you can put it in there where you can, and you can pick the number that you want. If you can only support us, for $5 or $10 a month, it matters. If you can support us for $100 or $500 or $1,000 a month, it matters. If you're, someone who's got a product that you've got sitting on a shelf that's brand new, you've never used, or if you're a business and you've got a product that you say, I've got a warehouse full of these things, I can afford to donate one. Auction it off and we'll and use the money for that instead. But I don't know how else to say it. We're upside down and we're in the hole big time. And I cover it every month, and I'm just out of resources to do that, folks. There's stuff we need just to make this show operate I can't afford to buy. All right, we're going to wrap the program for the day. I would be very appreciative if you would figure out some way that you can assist us. And You can get to our website at americasvoicenow.org. You can make a donation there through PayPal. The alternative, of course, to that is that you can mail it to us at America's Voice Now, P.O. Box 1195. That's America's Voice Now, P.O. Box 1195, West Plains, Missouri, 65775. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. God bless. Have a great day. And keep your chin up. See what you can do to help us. We'd greatly appreciate it.